Good morning, good morning. So everybody wants to have success in their life and in their career, don't they? Yeah, of course you do, but not everyone gets it. Let's just position that a bit. That's better. But not everyone gets it. So yesterday we spoke about three things that you're going to need to be successful in your career. And we started with the first of these points about how you will identify what you're really good at and that you really enjoy doing, and that you get a great understanding of what problems you can solve and the value that you bring. Today I want to look at part two, and this is James Foster and Careers Matter. So how do you plan for your career success, part two? So the first question then was, who wants and needs what you do, and what companies and who within those companies that you need to be looking at. So let's say that again. Who wants and needs what you do? What companies and who within those companies do you look at? So you've now identified what it is that you're good at. You know, and let's look at that in a practical term for a moment. Maybe you are good at solving technical problems within a development environment. So you're a software engineer. You understand the architecture and everything that goes into the process of writing software applications, etc., etc. And you've been particularly good at getting into complex development processes and putting them together and bringing out and making that work. Now, sorry, this all may sound a little bit contrived. I suppose it is, but the point is that there's a specific skill set that you've got, which is about solving major problems within a complex environment of software development, and that's the point I want to get to. So, and you've identified you're good at that, and you enjoy doing that. It's something that you really love doing. It's something that you thrive on. And the value of that, of course, is quite straightforward, isn't it? If you can solve those sorts of problems, there are plenty of companies that need good people with those sorts of skills that can solve those sorts of problems. And what you now need to do is you need to just identify what companies are specifically going to need your skills. So maybe you're in a particular domain. Maybe you've got a certain experience within that, which is going to really attract you to a type of an organisation. I can't give anything specific, but let's talk about that within the fintech environment, within the financial tech environment, that you've worked on major programs within financial tech. And so therefore you're going to be looking at companies that work around financial tech. This is all sounding obvious, but you'd be surprised. It's never that obvious. So you look at companies that are dealing with financial tech, and then you look at, okay, so specifically within what I've done, what was the problems that I've solved? What is it that I've done that's made the difference? What is it that I've done that's had an impact? Or if we're talking future tense, what can I do? What am I capable of doing? And who is going to want to buy that within those organisations that I've identified? Because what you're trying to do here is you're creating a niche environment. You're looking at what your niche is. So we start with quite broad. We're looking at complex software development, and then we've narrowed it down to financial tech. Good morning, Angela. And then we narrowed it down to financial tech. But maybe there's one particular area within financial tech that you've had a particular specialisation in. Maybe it's something like, I don't know, payment systems and services. So now we're narrowing your niche companies down even further. And maybe within that there's another sub-specialisation, and I'm getting to a point now where I can't nail it down anymore because it's not my expertise. And maybe then you can even narrow it down further. But the point is that you get down to a subset of organisations and you identify a number of organisations within that subset that would be that could be interested in your skills, experience and the problems that you're solving. So suppose, for example, that you find there's 20 or 30 companies that specifically do the stuff that you have really good experience of and have thrived in and enjoy doing and have made a big impact and a big difference. So you've now found 20, 25 companies that's right for you. It could be bigger, it could be small. It's identifying those companies that are really focused on what you do, and that you can specifically take your story into. Once you've narrowed it down to that subset, then the next step is really quite simple and straightforward. Who are the people in those companies that are going to be interested in you? So who are they? Let's think about that for a minute. Who's interested in solution architects? Who's interested in software development within an organisation? Well, clearly the CIO or the CTO. Those are the first two and probably the highest level people that you're going to be wanting to look at. So find the CIO, CTO or equivalent VP for IT or whatever the job title might be within that organisation. Maybe the organisation is bigger than just that niche, and therefore you've got to find the niche within the organisation and who is dealing with that. It's just a process of a little bit of detective work, shall we say, to come up with the names of people from each of those organisations, and you would probably be looking at 3, 4 names. 4 or 5 names within each of those organisations. So you're turning your 25 companies into what, 100, 125 names, that sort of number. That's about right. So you're turning that into 100, 125 names of people, of individuals that could have a valid interest in what you do and the value that you bring to that organisation. So you've narrowed this down now to something that you can really get your teeth into. So, and you've identified exactly the people, you've identified exactly the market that you can make an impact with. So what do you do next? Well, that's part 3 to some extent, and I'm going to go into part 3 tomorrow, funnily enough. What I want to get out of today, though, is the next thing that you've got to do is you've got to sit down and identify the challenges those people are going to be having. Simple, yeah? No. The next bit is going to be a bit more detective work. Where do you find out what challenges these people are having? How do you go about finding out what challenges these people are having? Well, there's 3 ways. There's always 3 ways with these things. There's 3 ways that we can do this. The first is news. Google them, see what's in the news. Set up Google alerts for all of those 25 companies, and if you want to make it specific, make it a specific search for the niche area that you're looking at and see what activity is being churned out in the news about those companies so that you know what they're doing. So that's, I mean, there's more to it than just setting up a Google alert. There's a lot more news facilities out there, but the basic point is look at the news. The second thing you can do is LinkedIn. A great tool for market research in this if you know how to use it. And how I would use it is fairly straightforward. You've got 125 names to go through. You set them up if you like in a list and go through a number of those take half an hour a day or something like that, go through a number of those, click on every one of them, have a look in every one of their profile and see what they're talking about, if they're talking about anything. See what's important to them. See what is, happening in their world and what is grabbing their attention. And the third thing is, extending the second thing for a moment. Once you've looked at the people within LinkedIn and what's activities going on there, also have a look at job-related activity. Are those companies advertising? Because it's always a good indication as to whether or not there is any intent to hire. It doesn't matter what they're hiring for. If a company is hiring for people within the domain area that your expertise is, then the chances are that that there's something going on in terms of activity within the organisation, and that gives you a good clue that maybe it's a good time to be approaching them. And then the next thing that you do, in terms of understanding the problems, is use your own knowledge. Your own knowledge base. You know this environment, you know the problems that people face, you know the solutions that they need. So combining the three, you've now got a story that you can tell. And that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. So here at Careers Matter, we specialise in helping you to develop your career and to identify the areas that are really important to you, that you can add some real value in. And we show you exactly how you can exploit that in the way that I've been describing here. Tomorrow we're going to explain a little bit about how to actually market that and who to market it to. Well, we sort of worked out who to market it to, but what the message has got to contain and what's significant about that message and why it will be the important key factor in grabbing the attention of the reader and bringing you and getting them to want to know more about you. That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow, and that's what Career Matters helps you to do for yourself. If you're interested, well, there's a link with this video that will allow you to schedule a 20-minute free consultation where we can discuss this whole thing in a lot more detail, and where you will be able to understand how Careers Matter can help you take your career to the next level. This is James Foster, and this is Careers Matter.